Now, as the West Asia war enters its fourth day, Iran's strategy is focused on survival, rebuilding core capabilities, and of course, maintaining deterrence through asymmetric escalation. Now, this is by hardening their missile cities, dispersing command centers, and also accepting initial damage. Tehran is preserving its second strike capability. It is actually stretching the United States and the Israeli resources, because they now have to guard all of the Middle East and the other countries and their defenses with missile salvos. Also, the Shahid 136 kamikaze drones are proving to be quite potent for the Iranians, and they are being used to deplete the interception capabilities. The cost of defense currently is far more expensive than the cost of offense, and Iran are playing this low-budget war very, very smartly. Let's try and quickly understand, viewers, before we get in Tom Cooper, Ambassador Rajiv Dogra, and also Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni into this conversation, how this pans out. Why is it that Iran is able to try and impose a low-cost warfare budget? It's also because of its ballistic missiles, the kind of ballistic missiles that it has. So let's call up the graphics and try and understand how, with its missile technology, Iran has been able to really trouble the US and Israeli offense. Let's try and understand this very clearly. Now, the counteroffensive has shown that Iran has the firepower and targets in the region. Many of Iran's missile sites are in and around Tehran. There are at least 5 known underground missile sites and various provinces including Kermanshah, Semman, as well as near the Gulf region. Now, here is the strike radius of Iran's arsenal. First up, there is the Shahab 1, 300 kilometers, Fateh 102, 110, then the Shahab Fateh 313, that's 500 kilometers. Let's try and go to the next one. You have the Quds 1, 700 kilometers, Zulfikar Qiyam 1, that is also 800 kilometers range, Qadr is 380, 1000 kilometers, and Shahab 3, 1300 kilometers, Khyber Shakhan. This was used in that entire attempted pounding of the Israeli Prime Minister's office, 1450 kilometer range, Emad Khorramshahr, 2000 kilometers. So this is, and then finally you have the Sejul and the Somar cruise missile, that's at 2500 kilometers. The effectivity of this is so far not yet confirmed. But Tom, weigh in and let's try and understand, where is it that Iran is actually placing its resources right now, its missile bases? And then let's take it from how are they able to attack Israel and what their strategy will be, how to use their missiles. Yes, over to you.
Primary Iranian missile bases were all, or used to be all, in western Iran, along the border to Iraq. Point is that these facilities, so let's say Tabriz, Sanandaj, Kermanshah, Ahvaz Abadan in the south, and so on. Behind them, there is a second line, Qom, Shiraz, Esfahan, and so on, Bandar Abbas. So, and then there are additional facilities for bigger, longer-ranged, heaviest missiles, which are liquid-fueled. So the point is the following. These facilities have been all either bombed out last year in June already, or not occupied now when the new Israeli strike came in. Or very few of them were really occupied. Why? But the Iranians have dispersed their forces. They've sent them into the ground, into the terrain around them. It took them 2 days to recover, to re-establish control over their force, what was left of it, after the initial strike. And this is now what they are doing since yesterday. They are conducting more or less an organized of counter-offensive, so to say, missile-wise. This is all run guerrilla style, which means they are moving constantly. They are moving from one hiding place to another, firing their missiles, and then moving again.
Okay. So they've got the ability. What kind of missiles are they using? So we've put that. Let's try and understand. Iran's IDF has said that they have destroyed some of their bases and some of their missile bases. What kind of missile bases have been destroyed in the last 24 hours?
So there is a particularly interesting take. This, for example, that there one can see 3.5 tons truck. This is a relatively small civilian truck.
Okay.
You see them by dozens, for example, on the streets of New Delhi. So this is carrying a missile with a range of 150 kilometers.
Missile with a range of 150 kilometers, so that will be somewhere around the
Below
short-range
Shahab
missiles
1.
or the Shahab 1.
Shahab 1 is a big missile. It's some 30 meters long.
Okay.
But you can see it here again. If if the editor could stop the take or return.
We just
or
freeze
here.
it. Can you just freeze that part? I know it's a moving footage visual. Can we just freeze it when we see the truck? When we see the truck, if we
With these
will try
three
and freeze
white
it.
lines.
Yeah, the next one. After this, just when you see the truck, just freeze that footage if you can, please. We get that back. No, next. Just the previous one. We'll try and do it. We've got to freeze because he wants to show the length of the truck. It just looks like a normal truck. And
here it is.
just freezes.
So this is a small truck. Okay, this one is a little bit bigger because it has 3 axes. So it is probably a missile of some 300 kilometers range.
That's the Shahab 1 or any of the Fatehs could be, or the Shahab.
Likely Shahab, but probably Fateh.
Fateh. Could be the Fateh missiles there.
And look, these 2 lines you can see here, they are holding tarpaulin over it, which means you can camouflage this vehicle to look exactly like a commercial civilian truck. And it's moving with the traffic around the Iranian cities, and nobody can find it.
Nobody can find it. And they can also, it also has the ability to launch itself from wherever.
Of course.
So they're like a mobile launcher.
Yes, it is a mobile launcher. At the pre-selected point, they must have thousands of pre-selected points because they had so much time to pre-select these points. It stops, removes the tarpaulin, rises the missile and fires, and then moves again.
There is a saying, Tom, in Hindi, which is called chor dimag. That means that you think like a thief. How do you use minimum resources and low cost and create maximum damage?
Yes.
And when you know that you're going to be surrounded by a powerful enemy, as a David would do, how do I use the sling?